Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to use the Classifier Explorer with Wekinator to start exploring how different classification algorithms draw decision boundaries from your training set. So as you see here, you're going to run this with 2 inputs and 1 classifier output in Wekinator. So I've launched a new Wekinator project here. I'm going to tell it 2 inputs, 1 output, make that output a classifier, and I'm going to leave everything else set to the defaults. Now, I can minimize Wekinator. I don't really need it to do the most interesting stuff with the Classifier Explorer. Here you see when I run the Classifier Explorer, we've got a 2-dimensional input space. And if I click in this space, you'll see a point. This means I've created a new training example at that point. And you can see the coordinates for each new example down there. So the X position here is 234, the Y position is 165 or so. And I can keep clicking to make more training examples. These examples are all class 1. They're all going to show up as red. If I want to make some training examples of class 2, I can hit the number 2 on my keyboard, and now I start clicking, and my examples are blue. Once I have some training examples, I can hit this button to train, and I can go into the run mode here, and I can start testing. So this is saying every time I click now, it's going to send that XY coordinate to my classifier. My classifier is going to come back and tell me what class it thinks that point is. So here you can see these are all being classified as red. These are all being classified as blue. And as I start clicking in the middle, you see that there's sort of a boundary between red and blue. If I want to do this more efficiently, I can just click this button, Draw Decision Boundaries. This sends a bunch of different points throughout this space to Wekinator, asks Wekinator to classify all of them using the current classifier, and then we'll plot it on the screen. So here you see every point that's showing up red here is on the class 1 side of this decision boundary. It means if I were to click here in the future, show it a new point anywhere that's red, it's going to come back and classify that as red for me. Likewise, any point that I were to click on over here in blue, it's going to classify that as blue. Now I can go back to my data set and add some new points. So if I click 1 to make a new example of class 1 and put it over there, I can retrain. I need to retrain every time I change my data or my classifier. I'm going to clear these old test examples, and I'm going to redraw my decision boundary. And now you see it's different. I've got some red stuff happening over here. Another thing I can do is go back to Wekinator and change my model. So by default, the classifier that Wekinator is going to use is a k-nearest neighbor with k equals 1. I could change this to some different number of neighbors, or instead let's maybe use a different algorithm. So here I'm going to select naive Bayes, hit OK, apply my changes, and of course before I can test this out, I need to train this naive Bayes. I can do this here by clicking this train button, or I can do it here clicking this train button. They do the same thing. So if I clear my test examples, now we'll see the decision boundary for naive Bayes, and it's pretty different. That's about it.